Yeah, I just was like, we need this information more than, more than anyone. Like everybody needs it. Let's be honest. Everybody
Yes.
needs to know the truth about our bodies and the truth about health, and that there is a cure for cancer, and that we've had that cure for since 1928. Right. And it's not a secret. They're suppressing it on purpose. That is not an accident. Right. So, I just decided to, create that need. So the Melanin Natural Expo, it was called the Melanin Moms Natural Expo because a big focus of it is birth. Some of you may or may not be aware of these numbers, but Black babies and Black women die at giving birth, and their babies die right at birth at 2 to 4 times the rate of white women.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew it was different, but I didn't know any type of statistic on it.
Yep. Yeah. Which is crazy, insanely high, 2 to 4 times. And I say 2 to 4 times because there's one number for the maternal death and one number for the baby. And I
Okay.
get them mixed up, but I do know for sure, and we can look that up. It's on my website, actually. I think it's on my website.
What website might that be?
melaninmomsaz.net.
Okay, so if you guys want any more information in long lines of that,
Yeah.
you would go to melaninmoms.az.
And we've just done our 4th year last year. So we're looking for a venue for this year. But you'll be able to look at all the, musical guests. We have musical guests, naturopathic doctors, nutritionists. I mean, we cover all of it, right? And it's entertaining. So there's like kids activities. We had the Children's Museum there one year.
Awesome.
So yes, and then we have local R&B artists. We had a local rapper last year, so it's always a really good time.
I hear one time you had a life insurance guy there.
He was that was you. Oh my goodness! Wow, he didn't perform.
I didn't say I performed. I was just saying, just
you were
type
there.
Of options.
Let me shout you out.
Those type of options you can expect. A plethora of options to get information from or enjoy any entertainment or get some food or there's just a lot of options there.
It's my brother right here. I've known this dude for a long time.
But that's not all you're doing. Just in case you guys are wondering, this is the one I try to keep up with. I mentioned her before. I try, but gosh damn it. So there's also I'm sorry, before I get into this one, it says that you were an author. So you
correct.
Also do have a book, correct?
I do have a book.
I
just have one book right now.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought there was another one, but
no, not yet. The next book, actually, I'm trying to find somebody an illustrator to partner with. Let me throw that out there to do a kids book.
Illustrators, if you looking to do a kids book,
and illustrators and authors, I guess. But yeah, I want to partner with somebody, and maybe has done kids books, but it's my concept. It's executing.
Yeah. They're bringing your idea to life on the paper.
Yeah, basically. Which is honestly, it's nothing different than the Melanin Natural Montessori and the Melanin Natural Expo. It's the same thing of representation, normalizing. Why does the dad job in every book? It's always some shit that you ain't never, you went to the office. I'm like, there's other jobs out there. Right? Can we normalize working for yourself? Can we put that into our kids' brain instead of you know what I mean?
How much shit I used to get from my friends when they were like, oh, you be cooking at the house and stuff? Like, yeah, I mean, I'm a cook, so it would be, why wouldn't I cook at home?
So many men cook. Many men cook.
Yeah.
And still in our children's books, and you don't think that affects them. They're absorbing all of that. It goes into their subconscious and it shapes our perspective. And some of that has the power to perpetuate racism. Right? I mean, it's and sexism, all of these things, right? All of these things that women's value. You look at kids' books, and the little girl always needs saving. She's always a princess. These are
in distress.
Put into our children's mind, and it shapes our entire perspective in life. So I just want to, I don't have a big mission. There's a lot of great conscious kids books out there right now. I have all of them. Okay, and there's a lot of them are doing deliberate to be, representative. Yeah.
So what happens when all the cartoons have all the women saving themselves all the time, and there's no balance in between with that?
I mean, I think we have a long way before we get there. So let's cross that bridge when we come to it. That's what I say.
When I watch cartoons now, most of the girls are pretty tough. If you watch the old cartoons, they have that damsel in distress. But now most of the girls hold their own in all the cartoons because, people were complaining about that. Any new cartoon, girls hold their own.
Okay.
They're not being saved anymore. That's gone. So Now they can hold their own. They're tough. They're this. You know what I'm saying? They're fighting and this. What do we do when people say, "Hey, well, this girl, she can handle her own, and she may do need some help." You know what I mean? And then we come up with a generation with,
What are
we don't
you
need to help
implying
them.
that cartoons are the only thing that shaped their perspective in a
No, I'm not.
generation?
Well, that's what we were talking about, right? What
Well,
the
that's one aspect, but there are so many don't you agree that there are many other influences? I know where you're coming from. I know where he's sniffing at. He's sniffing at the toxic masculinity argument. And I'll go there. Do we want to go there? Can we talk about it?
toxic man. No, I'm my that's not really where I was going.
No?
Where I was going is just, I think that life is a balance.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it's
Of course it is.
we can't there's a balance. There's going to
Yes.
be weak men. There's going to be
Yeah.
weak women. There's going
That's
to be men
right.
that need to be saved. There're going to be women that need to be saved. There're going to be some women that can stand up for their own. So I mean,
Yes.
we have to make sure that everything is balanced instead of just making sure that there are, because we all know that there are strong women,
Right.
Definitely.
many of them,
There's
but
two
we
right
all
here.
right and don't need help at all. Never.
I
You know what I mean?
1,000% agree with you, which is why I'm so deliberate with what my son watches and what he reads. Now, every parent may not be like this, so I cannot speak for them.
Right.
But I can tell you right now that I want my son to know that it's always okay to ask for help, and that I will always tell him it's okay to cry. And he does have actually multiple strong male influences in his life that definitely provide some masculine balance, because I for sure cave. All right. I damn sure cave all the time. I love my baby and he needs that love, and that's okay. And you know what? That sometimes the man he put his foot down, but wait, when I would have caved already. So like, I'm cool with that. I don't stop him. So he's definitely got that balance. We don't, let me tell you the kind of books I have. Okay. So I search for Black representation. My father's from Trinidad. I have a book about my two grandpas, and one of the grandpas white, and he's like from, I don't know, Europe. He plays the flute or something. I don't even remember. Obviously, he was insignificant in my memory in that book. Sorry. But the Black dude is from Trinidad, and he plays steel
clothes he
pad.
was wearing and everything, right?
Man, I'm not even a little bit. A flowered shirt, I think. But anyway, I have another book that I got from Grassroots. Shout out to Grassroots, Arizona's only Black-owned bookstore. And it's called what is it called? It's called I Can't Wait to Be a Man or something. And it's written by we're not Muslim, but it's written by some Muslim author, I think. But it's just like this little Black boy and his Black family, and they're teaching him like what it means to be a man and to be strong and like provide and support, but like, in child's language, obviously. But it's really cute. So so I definitely totally 100% agree with balance. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to. I think it's still a positive direction that we're shifting some of our media, but I don't want the media to raise my kid anyway. So we can't put it all on the media to put, you know what I mean? That's just one tiny piece. True. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I don't trust most. My son's not allowed to watch anything from Disney. You understand where I'm at right now? If it's a Disney film, he may not watch it.
What if it's even like Mulan?
If it's a Disney film, first of all, he's not allowed to watch anything with violence. I just enrolled him in martial arts class. So I want him to learn about it from, an ethical perspective, in ways that they can, teach, when it's appropriate. You know what I'm saying? But no, he don't need to be putting that stuff in it. He can experience it in real life. You know what I'm saying?
I would like to touch on something.
Please.
Strong women also need saving too sometimes.
All the time.
And it's not saving, right? Because it is balance. Yes, we can be strong. We can be independent. We can have a good head on our shoulders. We can demand respect and not need somebody in our lives holding our hands. But at the end of the day, it's still nice to wrap up in someone's arms, or if you're tired, they step in and help you with whatever you need help with. Like, it is a partnership. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yes. Listen, we were not meant to do this alone.
Ever.
So I am not preaching that. I feel I'd be overwhelmed as a single mom. Like, I see single moms and I'm like, that shit is not natural. That is not meant. We are supposed to be in a village community, man. We are trying to build communities out here.
The saying, isn't it?
Real,
it takes
you know what I'm saying?
Used to be the
Yo,
saying.
that's what I'm saying. Let me shout out Phoenix
Used to be the
LOC, Phoenix Local Organizing Committee, real quick. Amazing nonprofit, doing amazing things out here in the Black community. Like, we're trying to build community here. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't believe we're meant to be doing this alone at all. So I 1,000% support Jess. And I know Jess, let me speak for Jess, because I bet you she gonna back me up on this one. Can we just, hello, divine masculine, divine feminine? All right. It's in each of us.
Mhm.
Right.
That's
And
real.
so, I was talking to, I have a therapist and she's a holistic and like into energy and a naturopathic doctor and all this. Right. So she lives in that world. So she, she was telling me, it's like, yeah, I'm in my masculine when I'm at work. She's like, you're very much going to be in your masculine. Like, yeah, when you come home, she's like, yeah, sink into your feminine.
That's real.
Let him take care of you. Let him do this. I was like, hey, you know what? You're right. And I'll tell you when that changed for me is after I had my son. It was a very pivotal, I could put a light switch on that moment. I grew up with Elijah. I'm very alpha female. Don't hold the door for me. You ain't gotta buy me a drink.
A little too
Nah.
much sometimes.
It was. And when I
remember
had a
being out with
child,
you and having
yeah.
and being like, yo, I ain't got no money. You gotta act like a chick. We need some drinks. We broke. Go
Yo.
act like a chick and get us some drinks.
Do you have anything cuter than that t-shirt and sweats you have on? Jeez. No, that is so funny. But yeah, it's like, sink into your feminine, when I had my child, it's just the amount of, it wasn't a healthy relationship at the time. I was a different person and it was pretty traumatic. I went through a lot and it was like something switched when I had that kid and I said, oh, that's why y'all get the door for us. That's why I need to be taken care of. A mother, that child needs the mother. They need the father too, but it's different. It's not replaceable. One's not more important than the other. They for sure need both their parents, but it's different. You got to understand, this is not for men to be offended. It's like your job is to take care of us at that time. That baby needs that mommy and her breast and her bosom. And we want to do skin to skin with the daddy too, all day for sure, right? But like that mom going back to work in 6 weeks, that shit ain't natural. That shit is not good for that child. I'm not judging any mother that chose to do that. I understand. It's our society has put us in that place. Right. So it's not your fault, right? It's not for us to feel guilt. Every mother feels guilt.
I mean, anywhere outside the U.S.,
a year.
Father gets even 6 months.
A year. It's like a year or 2 years. Like the dad, like a lot. I don't know if it's Paris or Europe, but there's a documentary called like Babies or something.
Switzerland, right?
Something like that, man. It's like 2 years for the mom, and like the dad gets a year or something. But at least 6 months. It's like I think on the small end. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
I remember not even knowing what PTO was until I was like fucking.
He said, I never heard of that.
I didn't even know what that shit was until I was in my 30s, let alone getting time off for my kid.
Oh,
what's this PTO on my check? What's that mean?
Wow.
You didn't pick a good career, bro.
Really
Not a good career path.
The industry, I would not change that experience for nothing.
No.
Yeah, it all shaped us. It's who we are, right?
Sure. I got all kinds of waiting stories and, slamming salmon stories. If you guys ever want to get me on a podcast and talk about restaurant stories,
let's do an episode. Let's do it.
When you were talking about, masculinity and femininity, it also made me think about, when people think about being conservative and liberal. You know what I mean? It's to me, you can't be one thing. There's no way you can be liberal in all situations, and there's no way you can be conservative in all situations.
And that's exactly why I can't pick a side for any of it.
Yeah, I don't do politics.
In certain situations, you should be conservative. In certain situations, it's just in life. Decisions that you make.
Yeah. Right.
It's not even just about
not the
politics.
Political party. You're just taking the literal definition of the
literal
word.
Definition of the words. If you're going to be conservative about some things and you're going to be more liberal about some things, you know what I mean? And to break it down in politics, I'm always conservative. You can't be. That's ridiculous. There's going to be things that you're going to be very, very liberal about. And there's going to be others that you want to conserve or be more conservative about.
Obviously, don't get me started, man. They created these systems to divide us, man. How deep y'all want to go? You know what I'm saying?
We are divided.
I would love to go a lot deeper, but we got two more.
We're never going to be a monolith.
That's
you know
the thing.
I mean?
We're not divided at all.
We're never going to all think the same.
No,
that's not to say that everybody thinks the same, but it's not black and white like you just said. Like you just said, it's not black and white.
It's definitely not.
Everybody is different, and there's room for all of us to breathe. They are creating this divisiveness of like, I'm better than you, my God's better than you. Yo, we all talking about the same thing. Y'all ever seen Zeitgeist? We all talking about the same thing. We just got different words for it. We just calling it different things.
Thousands of years.
Call it whatever you want.
Use whatever language you want.
Yo, whatever you want. The sun, source, God, Allah, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it. It's all good to me.
And
I like
that's
the
the
color
thing. It's like a
uni.
mutual respect. Like we can just respect each other's opinions. We don't have to force
Differences.
our beliefs on each other.
Yo.
That's what causes the divide, is
Man.
trying to put a label on it,
Band-Aids.
That's
Excuse
real.
me.
right? But if
No,
we
you're
don't
right.
stop putting
Mayonnaise?
labels on it, then
Band-Aids.
Oh, I was like, mayonnaise.
if we stop putting labels on it, then we can see how much we are all alike.
Yeah.
And we can just respect each
Yeah.
other's
And
opinions.
mostly
and
everybody
feelings.
mostly wants good and to be nice. Mostly,
Yeah.
right? I'm not
Same.
saying there's, not a few crazies, but like mostly, right? But then it's so deep, right? That's the whole reason for the expo. That's the reason for my motivation for the school is my son too.
Mhm.
It's like there's no schools out there really ideally that I want him to go to, right? So his health is of the utmost importance. So I'm always looking for holistic schools. So I will always choose his health over everything. He gets plenty of culture, going to my dad's house, like he's hanging out with Trinis all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then he always has somebody in town from Trinidad or you know what I mean? So he gets plenty of that, when we do events, like he's around, plenty of Black people. But like his school, like because I've always chosen a holistic school, that's not using chemicals and using a holistic approach, like they're mostly pretty white. So that was my motivation for the school, which is the Melanin Natural Montessori. And so basically we're just looking for funding, we're looking for grant writers. It's going to be a grassroots effort, but it's going to be really the first of its kind, like holistic, organic, for Black by Black school. So there's not going to be holiday celebrations, maybe Kwanzaa, right? Anything that reinforces us as indigenous people, which is really truly what we are. Right? You ever seen those memes? They show like a Dominican, he's like super dark, like I'm no Black, I'm Dominican. Bro, we all this what you talking about?
No, actually, to be honest, it's kind of weird because it's like
They don't want to be black.
50-50.
It's
Yeah,
I know,
a
but
lot of them are like that because I
I
when I
know.
used to do temp work for the spring training,
Right.
I'd get it like some of them would come by and just like give me look, just like whatever, and then the other dude's like, "Hey man,
Yeah.
my brother."
Right.
I'm just like, "Here's your
Some of them just like,
bro."
I'm 100% Spanish.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm 100%.
I know.
Yeah, but
I
it's like
know.
it's just crazy sometimes though. Like you see them and it's like I don't know. It's just kind of
see
eye
Sammy
opening
Sosa.
sometimes. You know what I mean? Because they're going through the same mental fuck we are. Because half of them don't want anything to do with me. I'm just another person, and then the other half of them are looking at me like, "Hey, we both have fair skin, so I'm
Man.
gonna respect your
I don't
presence."
know, man. I don't even. People probably don't want to hear my opinion, but we just get caught up too much in this race shit, dude.
That's what I'm saying. That's a divide that's created.
It is a
If you
divide.
look at the bloodline and you go back to history, we're all indigenous. You know what I'm saying? We'll all have melanin, son. Right?
Everybody's mixed.
My
And
dad, I was
Americans-
racist too. I'll say it right now. I was racist against my own kind. You remember who I used to hang out with in high school? We're not gonna name their names. You remember the dudes? You
Yeah,
remember? One of them was
I
Mexican.
remember quite a few people giving me the "you cool for a Black dude."
Yo, my dad was racist. My dad's darker than everybody in here. My dad is super Black. Because I'm light skinned, was like, oh, your dad's like, I'm like, nah, son. No, he is not. He is not light skinned. And he's racist against African Americans, right? There's that divide of like, you know what I mean? But yeah, they have messed us up. They brainwashed us. They're feeding us poison, right? We're brainwashing us with the TV, with the media. You don't never see naturopathic medicine, which is real medicine, promoted on your favorite TV show. You see it ridiculed, if anything, on all of your TV shows, the Black ones, the white ones. Shameless, I can name a couple of episodes. Blackish, there's a couple of episodes. Any mainstream movie you've ever seen in your life, right? Has a regular. There's no mention even of naturopathic doctor. So we're brainwashed our whole lives. People think they're lesser doctors. They're feeding us poison that's hijacking our brain, making us addicted. They're marketing the food towards Black people more. KFC, Popeyes. They literally are creating food deserts in our neighborhoods, right? So you have socioeconomic challenges deliberately put in place by the system. So we have literally just physically less access to healthier food, right? And then so of course that affects your brain, gut-brain connection. Of course it does, right? So of course you're going to be depressed. Of course it's going to be more violent in these, you know what I mean? And you're just going to have more challenges in general. And so,
and not to mention when that's all you're eating, that's all you want. You don't even
Ugh.
want vegetables. You know how many people
Yes.
we meet and they're like, I'm like, how many vegetables and fruits do you eat a day? And they're like, I don't really eat vegetables.
Oh my
and fruit."
God.
I'm like, how
It's
are
terrifying.
you alive?
It's
It's
crazy,
American.
right?
But that's
How are you
I really believe
alive?
that that's an American
It
problem.
is an American
Yeah,
problem.
totally.
For
I
sure.
really, really. I mean, it's we have compounded it it's compounded with capitalism being on top of that,
Mhm.
and money being
It's all about
the
money.
ruling
Mm.
of everything,
There
and
are-
that's all it's about.
We have so many foods or additives in our foods that are banned in
In other
In most
countries.
countries,
every other
In
country.
most countries,
Yeah.
dog. Most glyphosate
Yeah.
wheat. If y'all eating wheat and your wheat is not organic, guess what? You might as well take a bottle of Roundup from Home Depot and spray it in your mouth. Do you understand?
Yep.
Go get a bottle of Roundup. Look at it at
There's
Home
actually,
Depot. You can see glyphosate on the back. That is what our wheat is sprayed with. It is one of the most heavily sprayed crops besides cotton, I think, is number one.
And all you social media people out there, I don't know if any of you, well, you probably haven't seen it. You're not really on that much. But I don't know if you've seen it, Jess. There's a little clip going on right now of a guy. He's doing a speech, and the clip is exactly what you just said. He's like, "You guys all like oatmeal? Well, guess what? What about your oatmeal? Those oats, all those oats are sprayed with chemicals. If your oats aren't real and if your oats aren't organic, then you're basically just eating poison."
Yeah.
And that goes for almost any food.
Yeah,
If
that's
it's not,
that's
if it's
Yeah, no,
not
no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
organic.
Yep.
But
yeah.
but it's
heavier in
I like the
something.
fact that that's in rotation right now, because a lot of
Mm.
people, when they think about spraying and chemicals on their food, they correlate that with fruits and vegetables. I feel like a lot of people, or
anything
at least
that's
looking
raw.
at it
Yeah,
like media
I
wise,
agree
and like
with
how I
you.
see people communicating with it,
Mhm.
they don't associate it with
But I
the
mean,
The
corn or
flours
the
and
wheats
their
or the
breads.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. I totally agree with you.
I do
Anything
I
processed.
do think though, like think about some of the issues. I mean, we do know why they spray shit, right?
Yeah, it's pesticides.
I mean, we had big problems.
Well, that's what they say, right? But organic farming is a very real thing.
I mean, we
So they
had
tell us it's for our
famines.
protection, but the point is there has to be another solution, and it does exist because that's what organic is,
Mhm.
right? That there has to be another solution that isn't killing us,
I don't. I
right?
mean,
There,
I'm,
it can't. We
I'm
can't
not
just
fighting
blanket.
on what the if there's different things different to fix it. I'm just saying the reasons why they do these things. It's like potato famine with the Irish, or when we put motherfuckers couldn't grow potatoes in certain situations, or we
That's
couldn't
probably
grow
'cause of all
crops
the
because of
chemicals in the soil.
insects took them all out and people starved. You know what I mean? Like there is certain situations where
There are
people had
zero
to start.
situations where genetically modified foods have saved anything.
I'm not talking about the genetic.
Oh,
I'm just talking
okay.
about why they started trying to keep
Trying
the
to do other
insects
stuff.
and trying to keep stuff off of shit. And then they start making modified things because they start thinking that these right here are just like bananas.
It became
You know why we
a,
do to eat bananas? The bananas we have right now, right? Because at one time all the crops got fucked up, and we had to start getting bananas from other places. At one time we was eating this different banana.
yeah.
And because the crops got murdered, they killed them all. All the banana that we used to eat is straight gone. So we had to start getting this new modified banana that we eat now. It's different than what we used to.
Mhm.
But it's the reason why we had to do that is because we had these issues growing them, keeping bugs off of them. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people starve, man. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm not saying these people are right for what they're doing, but we have to figure out a way to grow large crops, large amount of crops, because everybody can't grow crops in their backyard.
We
have that.
throw away millions of tons of food every
Yeah,
year.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
we live in excess.
Yeah.
That's true.
We do not need all the food that
That we
they
do grow.
And
Most of the food
and
that
that's
is
the,
grown is fed to animals, actually.
Yeah.
So the numbers, that's the narrative, unfortunately, that they have told us, is that they're doing
All
this
lies.
for solution. Yeah. But if you really look into the data and the numbers, you'll
Well,
see
no,
that
like, it
doesn't support
it,
that.
It is a solution, but it's a long trail of a solution, because it kind of goes back to what he's saying about running out of stuff, but they're telling us that we're running out of stuff for us. And that's why that's how they keep going. But in all actuality, they're running out of stuff for the animals.
Well, they're not
So,
actually running out of anything. That's the
No.
whole thing. That's a lie. That's the whole point. Is if you look at the numbers of how much food we produce and how much food it takes to feed people, like per person and the population of the world, there's well over excess. And there's a few. I can't think of any specific sources. I can name a couple of documentaries, but these are verifiable sources. EWG has it. Food Revolution Network. If you look at John and Ocean Robbins, they and what's the other guy? Michael Pollan has a couple of books. There's one other guy that heavily researches, Jeffrey Smith. Jeffrey Smith is like the GMO guy. And so they have a ton of data on this that you can, whether you like it in a documentary or you want to read the articles and the sources, there's a ton of data on this. But that narrative that they're telling us is simply not true. Now, did they, of course, have to come up with pest solutions? Yeah, but we've had those for years. So again, these one-off isolations in history, they're
excuses for us to give up our rights and for them to do what they want to do,
basically,
really.
and make more money, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, was there maybe one innocent farmer did create a solution? You're right that like it might start innocently, but then this guy over here, right, whoever, Monsanto or whoever, then they go and exploit it and they take advantage of it, and it's just not necessary.
That's what I was going to get
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Like they probably
It's
originally
overdone.
were trying to overproduce for
Mhm.
the livestock, and then someone
That
was like,
too.
"Oh, this mofo did this," and then it escalated to that, and then once it gets to a certain level, then it becomes about the money.
Right.
Well, and here's the thing: we're throwing away tons.
That's where the money
So
comes
much.
in.
Throwing away
because-
tons that could be given to the animals. Why are we growing food for animals?
Because
when we could just
that's
put
where
the
that's where the
excess-
money comes in. Because
you
as a
know?
farmer, you want to grow as much as you can because you're thinking that you're going to get paid for that crop.
No, that's
And
not
then-
true. That's what I'm saying. It's not at all about the farmer. No. Farmers are being put out of business, and they are losing these lawsuits to these gigantic corporations, Monsanto, and they are killing these families, these generational farmers. The real farmer, they are putting out of business. Unfortunately, there are many rates of them suicide because they were bullied by dark men in suits, because these conglomerates, Monsanto, come in, and what they do is, even if they don't buy you out, which most of them, they just buy you out and they say, look, use our seed. It's the only seed you'll ever need because it's GMO, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, okay, cool. Oh, if they decline the buyout, they move in next to them because they can afford everything because they're conglomerates, right? And then what they do is, if their GMO seed, which is patented, even drifts on accident, not an accident, naturally, meaning like the wind carries it, which is what would happen in nature, right? Over there, then they can get sued for using their product without permission. So they are putting, unfortunately, these farmers out of business. It's not about the farmer profit. The organic farmer is also being challenged, but that's another story. So no, Monsanto makes more money from these crops because of genetically modified foods. So corn, cotton, soy, canola, and sugar beets are the main crops, right? And I believe, I don't think wheat is. I think it's just sprayed, right?
It is.
It is, right? Okay. So there's just a few crops, but if you look at your list of ingredients on your jellies, on your jam, on your mayonnaise, on your ketchup, on your tomato sauce, on your pasta box, you will see a bunch of funky words. They're not words that you can pronounce most of the time. So you're going to see stuff like maltodextrin. You might see something that says canola or cottonseed oil. They don't know what they put in it. That's always fun. You might see dextrose. You might see citric acid. You might see thiamine monotrate. These are all either synthetic vitamins, tocopherols, right? Most of these come from GMO corn and cotton. They come from two crops, and there's a list of about 50 different ingredients that come from these two crops. You look at a bag of Doritos and you see a bunch of funky words. That's because it was cheaper to make that bag of Doritos with those additives derived from corn than it was to make it with just chips and cheese. It's way more expensive to make it that way. So that's where the money comes in. That's why Subway is cheaper. That's why the unhealthy food is cheaper, because it's not real food.
And it lasts longer.
It lasts forever. You've all seen these videos, the McDonald's fries sitting. Everyone's seen that by now,
McDonald's,
right?
I think
Everybody.
it's still going too. I think.
Yo, I'm saying, so
It's
that
still
is
going
it. Yeah.
on,
If
like,
you guys,
decades.
Hey,
yes,
I want to ask a question about some things.
yes.
What do you guys think about how the average person lives longer now than they did 100 years ago when these things weren't available?
I'm sorry. What's the
Say that
question?
again?
People are
You're saying-
living longer on average
Right now, people are living longer compared
than they
to
did 100 years ago before we had all these pesticides all these chemicals. Why aren't we dying in mass?
I don't know. I would have to look at the numbers that you're referencing, but
Yeah, I
if
mean,
we have
obviously the people are
cancer
living long.
rates, autism rates, food allergy rates have skyrocketed in the past 20, 30 years since we've reintroduced GMOs and increased our vaccine rates.
But I'm just asking.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think about it. That's what I think about it.
Why is modern medicine keeping us alive longer?
It's not. It's actually killing us. There's a ton of numbers on this. You can look up. I have numbers on this. You can check out Food
So
Matters.
why are people living longer on average?
Well, let's delve into that.
Actually, I don't know if I believe that, because I remember when I was.
We don't have to believe nothing. We can look it up. We do not even have to argue about the numbers. I'm telling you, there is data on this.
Person's life of expectancy has risen over the last in the 19th and 20th
they
century.
tell us that.
No,
but
you're
is it true?
No. This is not. There it is.
That's proof.
Yes, he's talking about 100 years ago. Yes, when we were very sick and didn't have hand washing techniques. Correct. That's what we're talking about. Yes, it's different now.
What about those techniques?
Hold on. So
science.
Let's think about this logically. So you're talking like 1920?
Whenever.
He said about 100 years ago. Yeah. So yes.
In 1950, we weren't living the times we were living now. The average person.
I need to see numbers before we keep quoting.
1950.
I need to see the numbers.
There's people.
We can
pull it up.
But my thing is now 2020, people are living a lot longer than we're seeing a lot more people live to 100 already right now.
Oh man, I need you to give me numbers, because what you're saying stuff that's so far from the truth that I've studied for 10 years. I just can't. Listen, our cancer rates have skyrocketed. The medical industry kills over 50
in the world than it ever.
Listen, pharmaceuticals taken as directed kill around over 50,000 people a year. Those are not being abused by recreational.
I'm not asking you. Nobody asking that those things didn't happen. My mother died of cancer. Nobody's saying that these things don't happen. What I'm asking is this: are there some things that are keeping us alive that modern medicine is bringing to us? Because obviously we are getting some things that is helping us from modern medicine. It's changed how we have changed our lives from the last 100 years. I understand there are some bad, horrible things that these corporations are doing, but we have to give some things to modern medicine and say, hey, these things are helping people stay alive a lot longer.
A few things. I'll agree. Go ahead.
I'll agree on both ends, because first I want to say I was in life insurance about 2 years ago, and while I was in life insurance, it was part of my job to know the current life expectancy.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, the current life expectancy was about 65 to 79 years old.
Mm-hmm. Which is not that old.
Which is not very old.
It's terrible.
But if I Google it right now, people worldwide are living longer today. Most people can expect to live.
We need the numbers. I don't want to sentence a conjecture that's an interpretation from an article. We want to see the numbers so we can verify it ourselves.
Hold on. You're saying people, the information you have is telling you that people are living longer than 100 years ago. But you were saying that people are living to 100 years old now. So that means they were alive 100 years ago.
No, I'm saying a lot more people, because of modern medicine, are able to live past 100 years old. Then hell yeah, than 100 years ago.
But no,
because of people 100 years ago,
I do agree there are certain things
wouldn't making it
in
past
medicine,
45, 50.
in the medical field. There are certain things that are beneficial.
Modern medicine is amazing for emergency and life-saving. For chronic illness, statistically, it is failing. That is not my opinion. That is a fact. You can look at the numbers. I have been researching this for a very long time. It is what I do for a living. So I'm not even going to debate the numbers. I know them for sure. Statistically, modern medicine is failing at chronic illness. Hear that. Chronic illness. Emergency life-saving, absolutely. Hell yeah, it is fantastic. I'm not against modern medicine. Let's chill out, right? But I have learned so much about this, and I have learned about the lies that they have fed us. Trust me. And the biggest one, once you start realizing that they've been hiding the cure for cancer since 1928, it sounds crazy to say that, right? You look it up online. The censorship is so strong. They make this man sound crazy, but they blacklisted his medical journals. He was a doctor. He tested this on his clients and had success. And then it has been used worldwide by many many world-renowned doctors and world-renowned institutes like Hippocrates and other alternative cleansing centers. You know what I'm saying? So that is a fact. Chronic illness, we are failing miserably.
Dr. Sebi as well.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
tried to make him seem like such a bad man,
Mm-hmm.
and he was curing cancer.
Yep. AIDS.
And
yeah, his big thing was AIDS. Because he's not a doctor. That's what happened.
No, he's not a doctor.
He's an herbalist. He's an herbalist, and he won a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Claiming because being like, no, you gonna call me doctor.
Won several actually.
Woo! See, I didn't even know that. Look at that.
Yeah, he won several lawsuits.
Shit, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's part of the reason why he left the country.
Yes.
As well, because they kept coming after him.
Was he in Argentina?
Yes, I believe he was in Argentina. Yeah.
And let's
the white girls over here like, I can't get a word in edgewise with these.
Let's also touch on the fact that modern medicine makes us dependent on it instead of finding the cure so we can actually
just giving you a pill.
So you're not
have the cures.
You're not living on medicine. You're surviving day to day. Okay, I want to live. I don't want to have to
thrive. We want to thrive.
I don't want to have to depend on medicine when I can do it naturally.
Good documentary, Thrive.
Get to a point that I have to take medicine. That's really where we're at. Why do we have to take all this medicine to survive? We shouldn't have to.
They're drugs. They're not even medicine.
I mean,
real medicine is, like
halfway.
Herbs and stuff like that. You know what I'm
Halfway,
saying?
bro.
Some medication can be helpful short term. I will say that medication can be helpful short term in certain situations.
Yes,
it is never a long term solution. It is not a solution. There are no cures. They don't have.
I would never.
There are cures. I 100% don't agree with that.
Who do we know?
There are cures for many of the diseases.
What cures? Tell me.
Many of the diseases are not here that we had to deal with.
What disease is cured?
We deal with polio right now?
No. I have a book on this as well.
Do we deal with polio every day?
The old ones, polio and chickenpox, when those vaccines...
Do we deal with polio? Because we do not.
Again, the vaccines were introduced after they were already declining. That's another lie that they taught us.
We don't disease with these diseases. There are many diseases we do not. Do we deal with the thing, was it Descentine or all these diseases that we do not deal with anymore? Modern medicine, we know we're smart enough not to get this shit anymore. Science has figured it out. There's plenty of things that we don't get anymore that we used to get.
Excuse me.
I would have to look into the specific ones you mentioned, but as far as polio and the other three and the MMR, this is in a book that I have written by Dr. Gabriel Cousins. It's about 2 inches thick. He has an entire chapter on vaccines, and he shows the data, the actual real data from back then of when the vaccine was introduced and how the disease was already actually on decline.
You think it would have just went away?
That's what it appears as such. And again, I think it's just that I'm so deep and that I've learned so much about how much has been hidden. And the average person is not going to know this much, and that's okay. So it's hard. You know what I mean?
I could be the average person. That's cool. But what I'm saying is that it's a lot of shit that was killing us, man. That's not killing us anymore.
And what I'm saying is you have to challenge everything that you know and really challenge all of that, right? And there's a few documentaries or books that I could point out if you're interested. But yeah, it is going to challenge your world in a big way. I've been so overwhelmed that I was just in tears. I remember going into a friend's house one day. I was literally just in tears because I couldn't believe what I was learning. And a lot of this stuff is verifiable if you know what to search for. But if you don't know what to search for, the Google will censor it. Does that make sense? If I search for cancer cures, just as an example, if I search for cancer cures, okay, I'm going to find no articles that tell me about cures. If I search Max Gerson or someone, but if I don't know his name to search for, it's not going to come up. You see what I'm saying? If you don't know what to search for, sometimes you can search for hours online and have all the best sources you think, right? And it's all this mainstream media, and like, it's not going to show you because you don't even know what to look for.
The richest man in the world dying of cancer.
Karma
that happened?
No, I don't think it's I mean, maybe that's sure.
The richest motherfucker in the world.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he be able to find
what is that?
I mean,
I have no idea. You would think so. I would hope so. There are many rich people.
I mean, Magic Johnson's still cool, right?
He got AIDS, but he's using modern medicine.
Most of the woke people have been killed.
See, actually, what I think,
Prince, who was speaking out, mysteriously died.
He took a lot of pills.
But see, what I think it comes down to is
I'm just saying that he was speaking out.
The stuff that we're not witnessing today is I mean, I don't know about you guys, how you guys feel about it, but I do believe in evolution to to a certain sense.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Said to a
believe
certain sense.
to a certain
You gotta
sense.
justify your
To a certain
beliefs, bro.
But so the reason that we don't deal with that stuff before or right now is because it's ran its course. And now we have a stronger immune system. We have a stronger natural
I don't know.
That is a
fight for
theory.
it. It is a theory.
Man.
It is a
I don't
theory.
know, bro.
But I mean, if you really look back at it and think about it and think about all other living things,
Cancer
that how they
has
adapt,
Listen.
been
if they're
found
going to
from-
survive and
from
they're going to
thousands of years ago.
beat
You
it,
know that, right?
like
Cancer has been found in humans
Mm.
thousands
we
of
have
years
the
ago.
cells in us.
Correct.
cancer.
So-
That is correct.
Don't you think
Yes.
after thousands
Cancer-
of years, if we can just beat shit, that we would have been and beat this by now?
So are you saying that you don't
So-
believe anything that I said, that I've helped people reverse cancer and that we've had the
No,
cure
I'm
since
saying
1928?
If we have an immune system that can just
Yeah, but
cure
you have to
things-
give it what it
No,
needs.
no,
We're
yeah,
bombarding our
that's
immune
what I was-
system.
No, I'm saying he's
That's what I
saying evolution. Evolution is natural. So we won't
Look, check
need
it-
to
check it-
add,
check it like
add
this. Here's-
anything to
here's
that.
an example.
Our immune system should be able to fight that
Well,
naturally.
if we
It
lived
can.
in our wait, if we lived in our natural habitat, which is not this,
Right.
then we wouldn't have to
But we
keep.
And
found
that's been
people from thousands
proven.
of years ago had cancer. And
What
before we
is
even
your
had this-
point? What does that have to do
The-
with anything? We have
the-
tribes today that live cancer free and they're not totally vegan. They live off the land.
I'm not-
They're
my
untouched by
point is,
Western medicine.
Everything is not. Nothing is one thing. Everything's black. It's gray, dog. It's not
Okay.
just like it's
Mhm.
this and it's that. It's not. It's no way. It's not this or that. It's a mix of both. Some people are
Yeah.
going to be fucked without
that's
modern
what I'm saying.
medicine.
That's what I'm saying.
And
So
some people need
Nah.
to look at modern medicine
So-
on different
It's just
situations
not
and
true.
go getting something holistic. You should.
It's just
not,
simply not true.
It's not,
That
a,
what
it's
you're
not a
saying.
black and white situation. I don't think
it's not.
It's just a gray situation.
I agree. I agree. It's not a black and white situation, but there are certain things in the medical field that can aid a human being in extreme certain circumstances.
Of course.
You got a broken
There are-
arm. Science is the ones that's gonna help you right now to
Yes.
reset that arm and get.
But
that
if you have
X-rays.
something, if you are suffering from an ailment that is caused by your diet, and not necessarily mean just what you eat,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
the daily input of
lifestyle.
energy,
Hell yeah.
your lifestyle.
Hell
If you're
yeah.
suffering from something that is caused by your diet, it doesn't have to be a scientific solution to fix that because it was already.
Can we remove the term scientific? Because I'm very scientific. Herbs are scientific,
It
right?
is, but
You're
that's
talking about
what-
pharmaceutical drugs, synthetic, modern
Okay,
medicine,
But not
right?
all
We'll go
drugs
synthetic.
come from synthetic. Everything is not all synthetic though. Most
The
of these
drugs
drugs
are.
come from plants.
They were
and-
they were derived. He's
Deri-
I know what he's
originally
saying.
derived.
They
but
were
there's
originally
additives
derived
to
as
it.
such, but
always
it
really-
is
they
a
might have had
synthetic
to
composition
they-
of
right now they
an
might have synthesized it
isolated
for
chemical,
money
right?
reasons or whatever reasons
Mhm.
they made it synthesize it. But all these ideas came from herbs and stuff. They came together to make these.
You're right.
in
So
most
why aren't we
situations,
still
it's-
using the
it's not-
herbs?
Hello.
Why
in
aren't
most
we still using
Hello.
the herbs?
It's-
Zero
I don't
side
know.
effects.
I can't give you
really
any reason
effective.
why they went synthetic. I don't know. But what I'm saying
Money.
is, or if
Money.
they're not, I don't know what
It
they're
is
doing
money.
because I can't even fucking say. 'Cause I don't know.
I know why.
I don't
'cause
like
they
taking
can't
pills.
make
That's what I
money
do
off
know.
of-
I don't
Yeah.
take shit.
Natural herbs provided from the earth.
Me either.
I
Well,
don't
why?
take
Can I
pills at all.
ask you why not then?
Why? Because
Why
I
not
don't,
what?
Why
He
take
said he doesn't
something?
take any pills.
Why take something I don't need? I don't take pills like that.
That's
I don't need them.
yeah, man.
So
You
you-
would have thought the otherwise. The way he was fighting
Yeah,
for this.
that's what I was asking. I was like,
nah, dude, because that's why I'm saying you guys are misunderstanding me. I'm saying that there is not just this space of just this all being answered. It's all holistic is the whole answer.
Well,
I don't
medicine
think,
is
I
the
don't think
whole answer.
anyone
There's
is
both. You
necessarily.
need both of them in your world.
yeah, no one
they're
has said
both
that. No
needed.
one said that they weren't both needed. But what I am saying is that I have understood, I've learned to understand the body and what makes up disease so well. And I've seen it work in hundreds of, if not more, thousands of clients in the over 10 years I've been working in a natural medical office and own my own natural business, helping people reverse disease. Like I've seen, I know how the body works now. So I'm not confused. I know what's going on. It's not just your diet. So yeah, you need medical intervention if you're not giving your body what it needs. You were saying that doesn't our immune system just fight it off? Yes, it does if we give it what it needs, but we're not. We've gone away from that. We're bombarded with soda and toxic synthetic scents and fragrances. And I'm being serious though, right? So all of these things contribute to your lymphatic drainage, okay? We're eating processed foods at a way higher higher rate, right? The Hudsa tribe, who's untouched by modern medicine, they're not a vegan community at all. They hunt, but they do eat mostly plants, and they live off of the earth. And you know what I'm saying? And none of them are sick. They're all lean. They're all active. You know what I'm saying?
When
That's
they're
what
in
I'm
their
saying, dog.
hundreds.
Yes.
That's where you losing me right there.
What is that?
There's no way in the world that because these people live holistic that they're just never going to get diseases and never get sick.
Oh,
Never
that's
gonna-
so
I'm
cute.
sorry.
I
I'm
don't think-
sorry.
I don't
People
think
were
that's what she's
dying
saying.
before there were candles, and
I don't think
It's
she's saying
okay that you.
nobody-
I am saying that, and
You're
it's
saying
okay that you don't
nobody in
believe that
tribe ever
because
gets sick or anything.
I didn't say that. But
That's what I was gonna
we're
say.
talking
Not
about.
dying of
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
they're
though.
not getting sickness to the ill to the
They're not getting
severity
our sicknesses
at all. Not even close.
they won't never get.
They might get a
But-
cold. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely
that's-
not.
and that's what I'm
There's
getting
numbers
to.
on this. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to talk about beliefs. This is numbers that we can look up. That's what I'm telling you.
That's what
There's
I'm
no
saying,
point. I don't
is-
have to argue.
is-
There's
When
numbers.
it comes to heart disease, all the shit that the
I'm saying-
hypertension, all the
Yes.
shit,
They
that
don't
bullshit
have
that we
it.
eat.
They don't
They're not
have
getting
it.
all that
Yeah,
shit
they're
in
not
that.
getting
And,
that.
right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
She's
those
not
are the
saying that
American
they're getting
diseases
those-
that I
those kind of
understand
diseases.
that we're
Exactly.
getting because of our fucking diets and how
Right.
we eat.
Actually, let me ask this question then. If you're saying that you don't believe that,
But they
don't
still gonna
get
have a heart
sick,
attack
So what
because
do you?
because they will have a heart attack from other just become stresses. Just because of the lives they do.
I do
living
not know the
a-
numbers of
a
if or
tough
not they
life
have
on
heart
the
attacks.
side of the road. Just
I
mean, they
can
live
tell you for
they live in
sure
a tough environment.
that there is
you know what I
a
mean?
significantly less disease rates, including things like heart attack and cancer. I
Definitely.
can tell you
I
that
would
for
agree- I
sure.
would agree with you.
Significantly less. I mean, by a large margin. I
Definitely.
mean, like it's almost opposite ratios.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. How big of a margin? We're talking 1 to 2% compared to 90%. You know what I'm saying? These are the types of ratios I'm
I wouldn't
talking
even say
about.
1 to 2%.
I don't know, but I do know that
0.7.
there's data on
But
this.
they're
That's what I'm
dealing
saying.
with. They're dealing with different.
Look up the
diseases
Hudson
But-
tribe,
than
y'all.
what
But yeah,
we-
that's what I'm
than
saying.
what we're dealing with.
And
They're
that's why
dealing
I'm-
with different problems.
That's
than
what I'm trying
we're
to say.
dealing
Like
with.
I agree with both of you guys because I feel like she's not saying that they're not gonna get sick at all. They're gonna deal with whatever sicknesses
That's what
are
I'm
in
saying.
the wilderness.
Exactly.
And their environment.
Exactly.
Our environment is different, so they're not
Exactly.
gonna suffer any of the
Exactly.
stuff.
They don't have
type of-
chronic illness doesn't exist in those
Yeah.
communities. That's what I'm telling you. Not chronic illness where you have a disease like diabetes for years of your life. That doesn't exist in those communities. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, diabetes. definitely.
Diabetes.
They don't
there
like
could be
the
there could be a
Native
cancer.
American
I mean,
community.
there could be a
Perfect
heart attack.
example.
You could be born a diabetic.
If you watch,
Just because you're born in a tribe don't mean you couldn't be born a diabetic. I mean,
chances
that's
are
low
so.
That's low blood sugar.
I
It's something
know
that
what
naturally
it
happens
is.
to people.
No, it's
There-
not, honey.
People
Oh
are
my
born
God.
that way. All the
I mean, if
time.
you're-
People are born
There is a
diabetic.
very small percentage of people that are born in type 1. I do a lecture on diabetes, just so you know. I studied it. The retreat
Is-
center I used to
hold on,
work
wait,
at
wait.
was diabetic. That's
Is-
what we did.
Is diabetes reversible?
Type 2 is the reversible. There are some cases of reversing
Not
type
reversible,
1,
right.
but there is a
Some
much
people have
smaller
to live with
percentage.
their whole life.
Over 90% of the people that have diabetes have type 2. So it's a very small percentage of people, you're right, that are born with type 1. And that number still has also increased in the past 30 years. So it's a very, very small percentage of people that are born with it. That is not, the chances of that
Back in
happening in
the
those
day,
types of communities is slim to
You were
none.
dead. There were no chances of you living
is
because
there-
of modern medicine. You live today.
Well,
That
Good
baby
being a
was
diabetic.
dead.
wonderful.
No, that baby who was born a diabetic.
Well, see, that's what I'm.
we
that's
wouldn't
what
have been
I'm trying
able to
get
tell
Like,
that
I've-
he got low blood sugar
I
nowadays
feel like
without modern medicine.
if someone was born, if there was a child born in that kind of environment and they had low blood sugar,
They would've
like, I
died.
feel like
100 years ago, they would have
don't-
died.
100 years ago, yes. But I'm trying to say like now, maybe not even. I don't even want to say 100 years ago.
Yeah,
I would
probably
say
'cause there
if
was
someone,
no way we
if
would
they
have
were,
to know the amount of blood in their sugars, we would have been able to.
but I feel like
I don't know when we
if
start doing that.
it would be a tribe that had been in that forest or that environment for hundreds and hundreds of years. So if they knew they're gonna know
And
something's
those
wrong with
tribes-
that
the
baby.
infant
Those
mortality
tribes
rates
wouldn't
were-
take modern
Infant mortality
medicine.
rates, my
They
bro, was
wouldn't take-
really high.
They would never take
Unfortunately.
modern medicine. There are tribes that we drop off, Monsanto drops off food to them and
Mhm.
they burn it. They rather burn that food because it has chemicals in it than to,
I
than
love
eat
it.
it.
That's
They'd
what I'm
rather
getting
eat
to.
mud pie.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I feel like
So-
they're gonna know the land and they're gonna know
Yeah,
what's going
they have
on
their
with
natural-
their
and-
people
Yeah.
well
and they're-
enough to
But there are
be
ways
able to
that
possibly
you can
reverse
manage.
it.
No.
There are
Hell.
ways.
or manage living with it.
there are ways
there's
you
no
can
way-
manage with it with natural remedies.
All right, I found some numbers. Okay. In the early 1900s, the reported death rate from diabetes for children under the age of 15 was 3.1 out of 100,000 in a year in 1920. Today, it's an estimated 193,000 under the age of 20 have diabetes. So, yeah, that is a lot more than 3.
It's the diet, but I'm saying it happened naturally. It happened naturally. That 3 still would be 3 people who would be sad regardless.
But where's
It's
the
a disease
medicine?
that
The
gotta be-
medicine's not really helping them. It's
Nah,
not curing it.
no, because our diets
You're
are so
managing
fucking
it.
horrible.
Right.
We're just managing it right now.
Right.
And then people who even get on dialysis and have kidney failure, they still eating the bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, dude, there are people who don't care. They're just gonna keep eating that shit until they die.
Yeah.
And that's our problem.
But why
That's
isn't our
American
government
problem.
pulling this shit off the shelves to
Iesha
protect us,
said it
you
is
know?
estimated that 12.2% of all Native Americans in the U.S. have type 2 diabetes.
If you watch
pretty big
They're
percentage.
Trying to Kill Us, shout out to my homeboy Badass Vegan, follow him on Instagram. He produced a film called They're Trying to Kill Us. You can stream it right now on the website. It's super
But you can
cheap.
always buy whatever the fuck you want and not buy the shit.
That documentary talks about how much that it's really a uphill battle. And so I have much more, and I'm not saying that you don't, but I have more compassion and empathy for people. I don't believe it's really people's fault. And you'll hear that a lot in the health community. Like, there's too much information out there. And I'm like, it's an uphill battle. If you're stuck in there, you're like, oh, I'm glad to see that circulate on Instagram. That's your algorithm because you're looking at stuff like that, right? If I'm just looking at trash all day and I got toxic stuff in my neighborhood and I got violence around me and I'm poor and I'm on food stamps and I got Cheetos in front of me and I'm watching violent, toxic stuff on TV, and then I see the commercials and it's violent, toxic stuff marketed towards me, like, you know what I mean? Like that, it's hard to get out of that if you don't know any better. Maybe you've never even seen it.
No, I mean, like, dude, I did a little test on myself, actually. It was kind of weird. I felt like I was just being angry for no reason for a while. And I think there was other things involved in the little attitude problem I had. But
that was good.
One of the first things I decided to do, though, is I took away all hip hop for like 2 weeks. I didn't listen to any hip hop.
Very interesting.
I used a lot of jazz. I did a lot of.
You heading down the street, people ain't gonna want to hear it, man.
I know. People don't want to hear it, man.
No, you did a little vibrational cleanse.
They don't want to hear
sounds
that, bro.
like.
You know,
Yeah,
see the shit I went through the other day. You see the shit
I've done
I went
that.
through the other day just for saying that.
Remember, I used to not
Oh,
cuss?
the 40.
Yeah, I said stop at 40 and motherfuckers want to kill. So,
hey, man, I mean, but that's the biggest thing about. I want people to understand with me, like. And I believe Lizzie can stand with me too. Like, in the end, it's up to you. Make your own choice.
That's real.
I'm just trying to be in a position and get people in a position to spread knowledge and show you options. And just like my disclaimer, in the end, it's up to you to do your due diligence and make your educated decision.
It's up to the parents, man. We can blame the media, we can blame everybody, but as parents, just like how she's taking control of her son and what he sees and what she feel like is appropriate for her. That's her parent, that's her son, and that's her parenting style and what she wants to do to lead her kid. That's what you have to do.
Anybody
for yours.
can have their opinion, but it's not right.
We can't leave it up to the fucking
all.
McDonald's to raise our kids. We can't leave it up to fucking Nickelodeon to raise our kids.
Yes, you know I totally agree.
We have to take the
but when we're an adult and we're already in that system, right? The solution is like shows like this, just giving people the resources. So if you want to change your life today, I would recommend the Thrive documentary. Look up Thrive, Zeitgeist, and They're Trying to Kill Us. They're trying to kill us. It's not. It's not about conspiracy theories at all. The opening segment is all about what I was talking about earlier. It really brought religion. It talks about religion and how, you know, the characteristics are the same in all these countries around the world because we're talking about really the same thing. So for me, it brought it home for me. I was atheist for a very long time. I'm very science-based. I've always been the why kid in school. I'm always like, I need to understand why. You couldn't just give me directions and I would blindly follow. Like I was always like, no, like what's why? Explain it.
At the beginning of the 20th century, 47.3 years was living. What people was mostly living was 47.3, and that's the beginning of the 20th
1900. Awesome.
Right. Yeah. So to now we're at 77.85, and that's due to vaccinations and treatment of deadly diseases.
Beautiful. How wonderful. Well, I just
We
want to
live
say that
30
I don't
years
support that
longer.
statistic, that not the statistic, but to say what it's due to. That's a speculation. There's no way to actually prove that. So we can speculate that. And just like we can speculate a lot of things. So again, you want to make sure you're researching both sides. I've come from that side.
What is
So
the
that's
other side though? Do we have statistics?
the
on
other side is that this is a narrative that they've been teaching us our entire lives, down to the point where the food pyramid was a lie, right? So that this is a
Right.
narrative, unfortunately, that they've been teaching us from a very young
You can't
age.
prove by looking at the average life of everybody that we're living longer. We're living longer.
But it's.
I understand that. I understand that we're living longer.
Hold on. That
but
part,
we're
that part
also
we're not arguing. We're not arguing.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that the number is incorrect.
That number is
We're not working in coal
But it's not
mines.
just because of vaccines and
Yeah,
diseases.
What do you think it is? If the woke generation just happened the last 5 to 10 years,
it's just like
people are living longer for the last 50 years. How is this woke shit making everything better?
Okay, how about this? How about a compromise? How about a compromise? How about a compromise? Let's say you're right. What's your name?
Dip.
Dib?
Yeah, Dip.
Let's say you're right. Let's say you're right that we live longer now because of the vaccines.
It's not me.
But hold on. But let's say, it is. That's the conclusion that you read, so that you believe it, right? So the numbers are correct, right? But so let's say that was due to vaccines, and let's say that that's the reason. Okay, that's awesome. We've also now have new data that's showing that too much is hurting us. So can we look at that too? There's the middle ground, right? I'm not saying abolish all of it, right? I think if you look deep into enough of the data, like I have in the past 10 years, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I have books on this stuff, man. It's not just documentaries I'm getting this information from. So I think if you look into it, I think if anyone does, it's really just a math problem. You'll get to blatantly see. I'm very, very like, okay, look, here's the data, right? So, but that's all. We just need to consider that too, right? So let's say that, yes, let's say that the polio vaccine, let's say that there are a few that were great. But we also have a lot of data that shows that too much, there are a couple documentaries on this as well, on the MMR vaccine, like that too much is a bad thing and that it's harming children, right? I know personally a couple of parents that had their children vaccine injured, right? And so the trauma, I mean, it's life-changing. So for us to ignore that data as well isn't fair, right? So we have to look at both, right? Yeah. Maybe let's keep some of them. Maybe you're saying, you know what I mean? There's some good, cool. Let's keep these old ones. Do you realize that the vaccine rates and schedule has almost tripled from when we were children? From when all of us were children, it's almost tripled under 6 months of age.
All the time.
I'm just gonna
New
say,
shit comes out
every
year.
Has there been any statistic on how much safety regulations have changed in over the 100 years? And how
we didn't have safety we didn't have
regulations.
We didn't have any regulations.
And that's what I'm saying though. That's my argument for this. What? How can you say that it's only the vaccines and the diseases when our safety regulations have completely changed in the last 100 years?
If you get hurt by a vaccine, you have no recourse. You can't even sue these
the
companies.
The percentages that get hurt by vaccines are very low, right?
How do you know
Check it out. There's a website for it. It's called.
I've seen the percentages of people who die.
At theirs, ADVERS.
I'm trying to say, like, how many people do you know working in mines and dying in mines? How many people do you know working on the railroads and dying?
I understand. We can say that it's lifestyle changes.
Like there is, bro. I mean, all that
medicine, my dude.
I'm not arguing that hasn't made a difference. But that's not the one.
There are still people working in coal mines.
It's like you're saying.
We
it's not
still
black
use
and white.
coal right now. So there's people that still work in coal mines.
Yeah, but look at the type of safety. Are they using a freaking canary to go down to check the oxygen nowadays?
But I'm saying there's people still working in those conditions.
Yeah, people that still have safety regulations are totally different though. I bet you if you look at the
they still die.
They still die. Oil rig people still die.
They still die.
I bet you if you look at the statistics, I bet you that's definitely changed in the last 100 years as well.
Yeah, because of modern medicine. If they do fall, we can get them to a thing fast, and we can get them
modern medicine, and
faster.
There's other safety precautions to make sure that those type of accidents don't happen now.
So you're talking about like physical safety when you're
just safety regulations in general. Our cars are safer.
But people are still stupid, dog.
You know what I mean? Escalators are safer. Elevators are safer.
I don't
Like
think the cars are
I'm just trying to
safer.
say that the vaccine
A
and
lot
the
of things
disease is
have
not
I
the
don't
changed.
think
sole
just
reason.
because
It's like you were saying, it's not black and white. It can't
No
be
one,
black and white.
and by the way,
I don't
not
know.
one person here ever said we were against science or modern medicine. But
a
we
lot
just
of
kept
people
hearing.
are though.
Yeah,
A
but
lot of people
none
are,
of us
though.
were saying that. So there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know
I didn't say-
anyone that's like that.
I do. I know a lot of people.
That's
like that.
100%
They
like-
And I
sure
live
didn't-
in the natural
they
medicine
didn't
world.
take
Jess,
the
would you
vaccine.
agree?
Yeah.
They didn't take the vaccine and don't believe in the vaccines or anything that have to do with them, or they don't believe in modern medicine. So I don't
I got
understand
half a
people.
hand on that.
Hey man, look,
I ain't fuck with the vaccine.
confused,
but I
dog.
agree that
Oh yeah,
there's
definitely would
certain
never get a
things in
vaccine.
modern medicine that do help us, but I am for damn sure not getting any kind of vaccine.
That's weird to
No
me.
vaccine.
Why would you go to the hospital ever then?
We
I
don't.
If you don't trust these
We
motherfuckers, then
don't.
why
I
don't
don't
That
go to the
doesn't
hospital?
make
So
any
if you break
sense.
something, you going to the hospital.
That's an
Oh.
emergency.
You're
If I
going to
break an
motherfuckers you don't
arm-
trust. I don't get that. That's weird.
Well,
I just
I'm
don't
not
get it.
I get in
capable
my
of-
First of
car.
all, the
If you think
doctors.
they're gonna
First of
give
all,
you
the
something
doctors
that's
don't make the
fucked up,
vaccines, guys. They get paid
why
to
would
give them
you-
out.
Why would you
I
So
get in
the
my car
doctors
and
don't
drive
are not
here
the
on the
persons
road
to
with
not
people
trust.
I
They
don't
don't
know.
make the vaccines.
doctors are a part. They are a part of the group that okayed this, and all of them
No,
came
they
together.
are not.
They're not.
They
they're
get
not MD.
doctors in hospitals do not have any say in the vaccines. That is way higher up. They get
Right.
paid
They
to give you
all
vaccines.
are part of the whole group. Just like I work in an American Express, I'm a part of the motherfucking group. I may not have to say at the top shit, but I'm in the group. I'm a part of
Mhm.
them. A doctor is a part of he's an MD. He went to school, learned all of the things that needs to be known to get into this profession.
What they taught
And
him.
exactly, he was not taught what they need
that's
to get into
restricted.
that profession.
Their
So
knowledge is restricted.
it's hard for me to understand people who say I don't trust them on these parts, but on these things I'm going to trust them. If you don't trust these motherfuckers, don't trust them at
Because
all.
it's not black. It's not black and white.
That's
dog.
weird.
It's not black and
That's
white.
just weird to me, man.
I mean, you're
it's
the
not
one who
black and
said
white.
it's not black and
Yeah.
white.
So do you disagree with home birth?
Do I just no, man? If you want to, if you have the ability to be able to do it at home, if you know what the fuck you're doing, do it.
So how could someone be
A disease that is a scientist needs to be able to know what's going on and how to get your immune system boosted for able to get what we need.
I haven't personally had to deal with any
Well, our
diseases,
homeboy died though.
so that's why
That's
I
the
don't go to the
crazy part.
hospital.
It's like people died.
If
that
I
we
felt
know.
like my body was in a certain situation where
Do you
I
think
felt like I
Daniel
had
knew
a
that
disease-
before he died?
before he got COVID, he died
Yeah,
from
I mean,
COVID,
do you think
though,
he was
right?
gonna be able to beat it?
Do I think?
Or
do
you
I
think I'm just saying. You think did he wish he had the vaccination before he would have lived?
possibly?
I'm just
Everyone
saying,
I know who's
it's
gotten
weird,
COVID
bro.
is
But it comes-
vaccinated.
It's-
Everyone.
It's
I
not going
know.
to
All
stop
of
you
them.
from getting it.
Every single.
It's going to
Nah.
keep you alive.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
give you it boosts your immune
It's a
system to keep you alive.
possibility.
It doesn't
It's a
keep you from getting it.
possibility. It's a possibility that it could help you. So no one knows for sure. There's people
How do
who've
we don't
had
know for sure
there's people
when the
who've
people
had the
who are
vac-
vaccinated are living and the
But
people
there's
who
also-
weren't vaccinated are dying.
but there's also people who've gotten the vaccine and died. There's also people who've gotten the vaccine and had
But
strokes.
all we are about are
There's-
percentages, right? If more people are living than are dying, then without it than with, then it means that it's working.
There's
if-
more people
it's-
dying. You mean as far as once you contract it
More people lived who got COVID, who were vaccinated. They lived.
and contract?
Those
You're
who
saying
died 9 times out of 10 did not have the vaccination. So what I am saying is if there's proof, we see the numbers. If we're not going to believe all the numbers, then cool. We don't believe nothing doctors say. Cool. Then let's not go to them motherfuckers ever. I don't understand how we can live half our life and say we don't trust none of these people. What they're saying are the numbers are lies. They're lying to us. They keeping occurrences.
It's
They're
like-
doing this. But I'm gonna go to them when my
Hold on,
arm
let
breaks
me-
because that's an emergency.
let me put
I
it
don't
this
get
way.
it, dude. That's weird.
Let me put it this way.
You don't want to fuck with them, don't
Do you-
fuck with them.
Do you
They're gonna
agree
fucking
with everything?
poison you, right?
Do you agree with everything that public schools teach?
Do I agree with it?
Everything that public schools teach.
I agree. I don't agree with history and the way they teach it in schools because it's from books. So books and from authors who wrote a rosy part of history from a book. They pulled too much shit from books instead of actual history. So no, I don't agree with how they do things in schools. But you got to have it if you want to get educated and get a fucking job.
or you could go to
Or you can be broke as fuck.
Homeschool.
It's up to you.
or
Also,
I'm
you
sorry,
could
I forget the name
unschool
you used. The
Melanin Natural Montessori.
No, yeah, Montessori. You can go to a Montessori.
That is a
school.
school.
I know, but it's not going to teach you the same public curriculum.
No,
that I'm speaking of.
that's not necessarily true. It
No?
might be the same curriculum. It's more about the teaching approach. So the curriculum is going to be
I thought that
dependent
was
on
more
the
of like
school.
the type of
Science.
school where you got you like outside and you're more learning about
Yeah, but they're still being taught
They're still being
history
good.
and math and reading and writing. It's just the
That
approach
whitewash
is
history
totally
is definitely
different.
wrong.
Yeah,
I-
and so
hell
it
no.
still might be
Well,
a whitewash
basically
history.
what I'm saying though is if you don't agree with everything that they're teaching at school, are you going to send your daughter to public school?
Fuck yeah. What the fuck?
Why? If you don't like what they teach, why you gonna
he
fuck
was
with them?
just reiterating
I
the
can
gray area.
also teach my kid but the real story is, hey, what you learned today? I learned about
Exactly.
Paul
Okay.
Revere.
So we can go
Paul
get our
Revere didn't
broken
ride with
arm
And as I
shit.
have these
fixed,
women do
and
their
then
research
go home and take our herbs
and learn these things,
Uh-huh.
I teach my son what I learned from them because I know she's got the
But how
knowledge.
can
I
you
know
learn?
she's
I
gone
just
through
don't-
the steps.
I just don't get it. I'm not going to get that. I will never get it.
How can I
don't
learn
get it.
That
what?
is okay.
How can you learn science is wrong? I mean, how
No
what
one-
what
no one
teaches
said
you
science
that?
was wrong.
science is wrong.
No,
No,
not
You
one
said you're
person
not. You
said
won't
that.
take the vaccine
Not
if
one
you don't
person
trust
said
the
that.
vaccine. So
Right.
you
I
must
didn't
not
say
trust
that.
it, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So
that
that
is
means
correct.
that you think that
I'm
it's
not saying
incorrect.
What does that
wrong.
have to do with
I
a
think the
broken
way-
arm?
I think the way
What
that
does it
it's
have to do with
being-
it? You're going to trust
No,
those
what
same
does that have
people
to do with a
to-
broken arm?
You don't trust these
A
people
doctor
to fix
doesn't
you.
make a vaccine. A doctor administers a
giving it-
vaccine.
right.
all.
They
I don't-
also fix broken arms. So yeah, if I have a broken arm,
You're going to trust them for that, but
yeah,
you don't
they
trust
can
them for the
reset my arm,
vaccination.
and I'm not going to take any of the medicine that they're going to write prescriptions for me to leave with. I can go and take my own things at home. I don't have to take their medicine, but yeah, I need them to fix my broken arm. That's
I don't know.
completely
And
I just
separate.
feel as though if
actually
you don't
people-
trust them, why
it's
fuck
And actually,
with
people
them?
do that
separate.
all the time
That's
as
just
well.
weird.
People all the time go into surgery and have things done at the hospital, and then they're sent home with
No, man, I don't go
certain
nowhere. I don't
antibiotics and
trust.
stuff like
Here's
that.
If
the
I don't
thing.
trust them,
No,
I don't
I'm
fuck
not
with
saying
them.
So
you.
then,
Here's the
I'm not
so
saying
if
you.
you break your
I'm
arm,
saying
you're not going to
people-
go to the doctor?
Here's the thing.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go to the doctor. I trust them.
Did you get a
Here's the
vaccine?
And
thing.
I'm gonna take the pills they give me too.
How did we start the show? We were talking about like not creating divisiveness, right? So I get passionate about this because I do know so much about it. But the fact is I actually do fully support his choice and your choice to choose to get whatever vaccine or medicines that you want.
Mhm.
And so the issue is, right, like then I'm allowed to also make my choices. I
Mhm.
just want everyone to make an educated, informed choice, not based on a lie of narrative that have been passed down.
That's why it's hard.
Right. And so if we are just able to all choose for each other, but we actually really did have all the information, but we don't right now. Most of the public does not have all the information. And that's I
that's-
think, where the discrepancy comes in.
That's my
right?
biggest reason for not really feeling comfortable with it because we don't have enough information on it.
And it's
You
all-
never
wait,
will
wait,
have
wait.
enough information
And it's
with it
all
about it.
coming. And here's
Unless
the
you're gonna go to
thing.
school and become a doctor and really
I feel like I have enough
here's the
information
thing.
now.
Here's the thing, though.
everybody
It
does.
is
Everybody's
all-
internet are fucking geniuses.
No,
nowadays.
I did not learn it from the internet, sir.
Everybody's
Wait,
internet
doctors and
geniuses.
scientists.
Guys. This is all coming from the same place, right? We are only being taught what they want us to know.
Mm.
That goes back to history, health, food,
School.
and science, and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. They're creating the platform for us to learn from. So they're only going to teach us what they want us to know.
Mhm.
So if you want to go deeper, you have to be the crazy
But
person
can you just say
that learns from other
if this is like
ways.
that?
So
I
if
can
you don't
al-
trust the history,
Mhm.
how are you trusting the science?
history is something that you can go find the other story.
So is
easily.
science.
Yeah.
Science is something
So-
that you have to prove. The science is not something that
Actually,
you
Science
can
is
go
literally
find.
built on theories.
Science
Um,
is not
it's
something you
not
have to
that-
prove.
you have to prove your theories.
Science, basically what science is something when you conduct an experiment over
You
time,
have to prove your
over
theory.
time, and then you present what statistics you have to
You have
prove
to
how
prove
you
this.
came up
You
with
have to
that
prove
number.
that, right?
Science
You have
is
to
a
prove how you came
method.
up with that number, but that doesn't mean that proof is absolute.
Science
fuck
is
no.
the
You can just
observation,
prove it.
identification, description, experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of phenomena.
But you have
It
to
is
disprove
it is a
this theory.
systematic method or body of knowledge, and it is not. People misuse the word science a lot today. It's a methodology, guys. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
That's what I'm saying. It's just
It's-
basically doing the experiments and coming up with your own.
It's observing
Right.
So
and
if I
then
come up
you
with an
show-
experiment and I say
basically-
90% of the people, then we've done 1 million people that's been in this
they
trial,
used
and
to-
90% of them came out straight with this medicine that did have this disease. You're gonna say, nah, that's fake.
No, I'm not saying that that's
That's what
fake.
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying
So
that
he
that's
did
not
a
enough
study.
information.
He-
1 million people is not a good enough number for me.
All right, man. I don't know what to tell you, brothers.
It
I
just
don't know.
depends on the study.
There's a-
I think a
there's-
million is a significant amount of data. I think
It's a
that's
significant
a
amount, but
huge data
there's
point. There's
over a
way
million
more
people in
studies
this
with
city.
yeah, but there's way more. There's tons of studies that are cited with way smaller data sets than a million people. That is going to be a large study. So no, I agree with you. No, if you said that 90% of your study for a million people came out to this conclusion, yes, that would make sense. Unfortunately, many mainstream studies are funded
Smaller.
by the very people that want specific outcomes.
That's real.
So unfortunately, that happens. And there's also people manipulating data. So you'll read a headline or an article, which is the interpretation of a data set, and people don't go back and actually interpret the data for
That's real.
themselves.
And that happens a lot. And because companies are ahead of things and they're trying to push data in certain situations. And that happens in science way, way, way too motherfucking much.
You don't think that happened with the
But
vaccine
this
at all?
approach can be called for holistic things too, right?
There's a lot of
Right. I mean,
science in
we
holistic.
need
there's going to be
holistic
lies on both
there
sides,
would
right?
be,
That
there would
people
be
could be
no
lying
progression in holistic
both
studies
sides.
if there was no
Yes,
science.
I guess they could.
So we
But
can.
it's just way less riskier and like way less profit
I don't
margin.
know, man. I mean,
You know what I mean? Because a lot of it is teaching you how to do it yourself, right? That's like way cheaper.
It
it's
matter
like,
what the person
what
is
am I?
selling.
You know,
Some people selling different things. It matter what you're selling, but in America, money fucking rules, and these motherfuckers they don't care. They as long as they getting money, they don't give a fuck what you do. Exactly what say. So they've been letting motherfuckers. No, but
Exactly.
dog, there's evil in everything.
There can be.
I would agree.
There's
Of
nothing
course.
that's clear of evil.
Sure,
Nothing.
I agree.
And to think that there isn't would be very naive. Even holistics, we're all evil. There's evil in everything. We just have to trigger out and find those evils and pinpoint them, so we can make our society better. That's all I like
agree.
to do. I'm not against holistics. You probably would think so, but I am not. I am just not.
You're just bringing
100% against people
discussion.
who can say it's 100% holistic. That's the only way you can go.
And by the way,
And
just
I'm
so
like,
you know, the
that's
word
weird to
holistic
me.
just means we're looking at it from a whole perspective. The
Natural.
word holistic does not mean no medicine. Naturopathic doctors can prescribe medication and do, and I have been prescribed medication by naturopaths. So just so you know, they don't know
Some
less
people
than
may need to learn that.
allopathic. Yeah, I know. It's really unfortunate. That's you know what I mean. That's what I was trying to.
Because people take it as you.
That's what the show's about, though.
It's a either or, and that's how people take it in many situations where it's either or, and I don't think that you should.
I'm
have to
very
be a
blessed.
either
I can
or.
say most of
I
our
think-
clients are not either or. I think most of the clients that I talk to are very much into integrative. I just spoke to another woman who's doing blood work, but she's also like, no, I'm not going to take that because I don't agree with me. But she's still going to them for some stuff, and she's coming to us.
And
so I feel very blessed that I have not encountered that.
I think that's the most important thing. Like from this show, if you're going to take anything from it, it's like I said before, we are here just to present the options. We're not saying Dip's opinions are right or wrong. I'm not saying Elizabeth's opinions are right or wrong. I'm not saying Jess's opinions are right or wrong.
Well, an opinion can't be right or wrong. It's an opinion by definition, right?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Some people don't realize that. Some people want to have an opinion, and they think their opinion is gold, is solid.
And I don't know shit. If you can teach me something new, I'm willing to learn.
So if there's anything that we have gone over that you disagree or question or anything like that,
a lot
from
of people
either side, do your due diligence and make your own best educated decision in the end on what you would like to do. But I believe we are getting
we're definitely over
time. So right before we get out, though, I definitely can't leave without doing my final segment, which is We Building Boy. So today for We Building Boy, obviously we're highlighting Miss Elizabeth Joseph and one of the I guess more important businesses right now. No, I don't want to say important. One of the more focused. One of the more focused businesses right now is the Be More Clean, correct?
I
mean, because your Melanin Mom isn't really like it's
no, that is definitely my top priority is the Melanin Natural Montessori, and then we're looking for a location for the expo.
But that one's not up and running yet, right?
The school?
Montessori,
no, that's why it's the top priority because it's not up and running.
That's why I'm saying no. I don't want to really promote that one because it's not fully in function. But that is the top priority. I don't want to get it wrong. That's not the top priority. But anyways, we're gonna talk about Be More Clean.
Okay.
So basically, I'll let you take it away. We
Yeah.
have Be More Clean, and how would they find you? Where would they find you at?
We're on Scottsdale Road, just south of Thomas. You can find us at bemoreclean.com. There's even a little bot that you can interact with and reach us through as well if you have questions. You can see bios of all of our information. Jess's beautiful face is on there as well, so you can see bios of the whole team and learn about us and what we do and why we're passionate about this work and how we're seeing people's lives get changed every day. It's really, really amazing. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's the most satisfying work that I could possibly be doing.
Awesome. And that is actually located at 2334 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 111.
Yep.
That's got to be a lucky number or something. I
Yeah.
say that all the time. Scottsdale, Arizona. If you need a number, it's 480-270-4566. And just because I like spread and help and stuff like that, if they want to get at you about the Melanin Moms Expo at all, sponsor, when is the next one, any of that, how would they contact you about that?
melaninmomsaz.net. Go to the website. You'll be able to contact me through there. So melaninmomsaz.net.
And I think if I'm correct, I think you did mention you guys are still looking for vendors.
A venue. We're looking to lock in a venue. We're always accepting vendors. Yeah, we're always accepting vendors. We do fill up every single year. We have a waiting list for vendors too. So yeah, we.
So if you got a venue,
yeah, I would say get in soon.
Yeah, man, we might have to grab one.
Yeah,
we need to
get in soon.
Yeah,
possibly we have to talk about that off camera.
Yeah, but I love your passion, man. It don't matter what we're talking about. I love people who are passionate about what we're discussing.
I support your freedom of choice.
For sure, but
and everyone's.
Invite you back.
Not
though.
Just his.
We want you to come back for more of a discussion on these things.
And we can get deeper into other stuff too, because she's got Be More Clean. She's got Melanin Moms, and I don't even think I mentioned Be More Raw.
Yeah, I mean, it's Be More Clean is a subsidiary really of Be More Raw, right? So it's my comprehensive naturopathic evaluations. We do food sensitivity testing. I've had experience with mold, parasites, Candida, gut health, blood sugar management, and gut health I would say are the focus of my nutrition now. But yeah, it's much past nutrition. That's why really it's like, if you want, comprehensive evaluation, from a naturopathic practitioner, I can look at, some of your allergy testing, you know what I mean? Food allergies. If you got an IgG test, I mean, most of those are reversible. If you were born with a food allergy, that is also reversible. It's a lot more aggressive, but some of those can also be reversed. But if it's one that you develop, they're 100% reversible. Totally, yeah.
That's crazy.
Awesome. So yeah, if you guys know, you guys do need some more information. So make sure you contact Miss Elizabeth Joseph, either at Be More Clean or Be More Raw or
.com. Yeah, either one. Yeah, BeMoreRaw.com, BeMoreClean.com. They link to each other.
Just all of it. Just hit her up for everything. Go get a colonic. Get your dietary shit right. Fucking go to the expo. If you're selling something, hit her up so you can be a vendor. If you got a venue, hit her up so she can fill up your spot.
Yo.
All of it. But I think we are going to wrap it up today for episode number 9. I think we might have to do something a little special next time, man. It's going to be number 10. Number 10.
I do have to shout out Black Song Greens. Sorry, that's going to be a Black Vegan Cannabis Expo. I can't believe I totally forgot to mention it. So that's going to be in conjunction with
that coffee place that you like.
It's called Black
Coffee Co. Black Song Greens. It's a 501(c) nonprofit, educating the community and destigmatizing the power of plants, including the cannabis plant.
Man, I wish we would learn how to be able to plant, man. I want to learn how to grow my own garden, man.
We have 2 gardens at home.
Sure, I'm trying to start.
Hey man,
this girl right here, she's the expert.
Community, man.
She the expert, not me.
Yeah,
we got a beautiful garden in our backyard.
Oh, but we out though.
But yeah. All right, number 9. Yeah, we could just keep on. So
I know.
I just want to give a round of applause. I'm gonna hit everybody at the same time. My wonderful engineer, Mr. Dip to the Lean.
Yes, sir.
Miss Jess, my wonderful interviewee for today, Miss Elizabeth. Why, you thought I was going to say the other one?
You did earlier.
Oh, I did?
Elizabeth, yes.
What did I say?
It's okay. I've known you for a long time. Your grandfather name, but.
All righty. So Miss Elizabeth is saying bye to you all. Peace out, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you.